So what I found doing these movement labs for probably the last 6 years, I've gotten serious about exploring more into my structure and trying to undo all the crap and injuries that have accumulated in my body. So when I started my professional career, I guess around 19, right? I was a late bloomer in dance. I didn't start officially doing ballet until I was probably 17 or 18. I did some jazz, musical theater and stuff before that. And I was very athletic, right? I was into skiing, jumping off of roofs, riding motocross bikes, swimming, a lot of swimming. But essentially, I had to catch up really fast. So I got into a really good school, the Go Ballet in Vancouver. And I had such great teachers, Chuchet Go, Lin Yi, Chu Chin. These were just fabulous teachers, all from the Central Ballet of China, I believe. They were very good dancers in their time. And I had to work really, really hard. And I think there was a bit of a price to pay for that because my body suffered. It didn't have enough time to evolve naturally for ballet. Although I had really good facility, I had good flexibility, I had, I guess, what you would consider as a very high quality structure for ballet, And it took a beating, it took a toll on my structure. And I think after a couple of years, I had developed all kinds of pain in my hips from, when developing and lifting the legs and using way too much leg muscles and not initiating movement from the right sources in the structure. It took quite a few years to undo a lot of that and start having a lot more fun with dancing in my career. So anyway, after 15 years of that, dancing in the companies and performing all year round, it was great. But it was only after I stopped dancing a number of years later, injuries started coming up from 20 years ago, 15 years ago. They started surfacing. And I think it was a call to really investigate deeper into my structure, to do something about it. If I wanted to continue and evolve, with a healthy body and being able to move and explore dance and movement still on a level that I'm happy with and would bring meaning to my life. So the last 6 years, previous to that, I did a lot of gym work. I still did ballet classes. I was teaching ballet. I was, giving myself bar and some center for many, many years. So I was staying quite fit. But the one thing that was missing was the floor work. And I realized some years ago that it's a crucial element in developing the structure, is learning to do good floor work, which is where I spend most days, at least for that first hour on the floor, unwinding the structure. So I want to just share with you very quickly the 3 to 4 elements that I use all the time, not just in the studio, in order to kind of redevelop my body and heal my body, if you will. Help to heal my body. Gravity, most important, is being very aware of the gravitational field around you, right? Being aware of that supporting force, that when you yield to it, when you let your body relax into the gravitational field, those holding patterns, right? The overdoing that we do all the time can begin to slowly let go. And what I'm essentially doing is trying to come down to a level of neutral, where I'm using a minimum of effort to do the movement. And this is really important. The second element is momentum. When you're moving, when you're jumping, when you're turning, when you're running, whatever you're doing, when you're walking, be aware that you actually don't have to input a lot of force or energy into that. In fact, you don't have to really force at all. You just input the right amount of energy, and the momentum, natural momentum of movement, will take you. Provided you are very aware of your placement and orientation around you and your technique or skill, whether it's basketball or dancing, it doesn't matter. So when you go for that jump shot, you just put in the right amount of energy and just let the momentum take you, right? Same thing with dancing. When you go into a turn or a jump or a movement, you're just applying the right amount of energy and the rest just happens, right? That's the supporting invisible forces around you. The third one is breath. How we breathe. Using your breath to support you in movement, right? The breath is the energy, right? To me, the breath is the initiator of all movement. It comes before movement. It initiates the movement. It takes you into those places, right? If you're holding or you're tense in your breath, you ain't gonna last. And anything you do is not going to be optimized. It's not going to be a pleasant experience. Whether you're singing, playing an instrument, dancing, doing sports, public speaking, whatever, doesn't matter. Okay, so those are three really important elements. Of course, the most important one that kind of encompasses all that is awareness, right? We have to be aware, right? We have to be almost hyper-aware. And that means not only aware of our environment, the supporting energies around us, right? But also the internal environment. What are my weaknesses? What are my strengths? How can I work with my shortcomings? How can I work with my strengths? Are my strengths dominating me in a way that's not healthy, right? Am I too toned in my musculature to the point where I can't breathe, where it's actually restricting me, right? So you have to look at all those elements and learn to work with them together and find a way, right? It's an alchemy, it's a fusion. It takes a long time, it might take you years, but the journey is really fun and exciting and interesting, and I'm having a ball. Even at this age, I'm still evolving and I'm still unwinding a lot of those old injuries and habitual patterns which did not serve me to my highest good back then. They impeded and got in the way of better technique, of more energy and endurance. Again, it's the old saying, I wish I knew what I knew now back then. But I think we all go through that. Anyway, just wanted to share that with you all, and I got to get back to dancing.